pues, mantenerte enfocado para volver a jugar.
Mira, la organización completa, de verdad, desde la gerencia hasta los clubes, estuvieron ahí apoyándome todos los días para poder regresar pronto con el favor de Dios. Y bueno, eso fue un gran apoyo, especialmente cuando el equipo lo estaba haciendo muy bien durante la temporada.
Tell you the truth, it was more like since management, front office, to all the way down to the clubbies. I mean, the support was there. I mean, they were trying to do everything possible for me to not just to recover, to get better. I mean, physically and mentally, and especially when the team was doing good through the season. So yeah, everybody was a big support for me.
The back right corner, Gregor.
Anthony, it was obviously a long road for you to get back to this point and get ready for the postseason. Your swings over the last week or so have looked a lot better. How do you feel at the plate compared to where you want to be right now at this time of year?
Obviamente fue un bastante, ¿verdad?, tiempo que tuviste fuera. El swing tuyo ahora mismo en los playoffs se ve muy bien. ¿Cómo tú te sientes? ¿Dónde tú entiendes que está tu swing ahora mismo?
Me siento bien, gracias a Dios, listo para competir. No donde quisiera estar, pero bueno, estamos un paso más cerca de allí. Y nada, ahora en los playoffs es momento de no pensar tanto en eso y solamente ir al home play a competir, a poner buenos turnos para poder ayudar al equipo.
I mean, not my swing is not where I want to be now, but I feel good overall. I mean, it's just more to try to go out there and help the team win somehow. I mean, just go out there and compete. I mean, it's not time to be thinking about how I feel right now physically. It's just more like do whatever it takes to help the team.
Fourth row on your left, guys.
Anthony, obviously it hasn't been the easiest first season here with the Jays. How grateful you feel having this opportunity after such a tough year? Obviamente no ha sido la temporada más fácil para ti en este primer año, pero ¿cuán agradecido estás de tener esta oportunidad, sabiendo que quizá en algunos momentos quizá no se veía posible poder cerrar la temporada de esta forma?
Pero tú dijiste que ibas a traducirlo en inglés también.
Ya la hice.
Mira, de verdad muy contento y agradecido con Dios pues por la oportunidad de estar aquí en estos momentos. Una temporada bien difícil, como tú dices. Lesionado 4 meses, pero gracias a Dios tuve el apoyo de mi familia, de la organización, de mis compañeros. Y nada, aprovechar esta oportunidad aquí para salir a competir y dar lo mejor de nosotros en los playoffs.
I mean, very thankful. Thanks to God. I mean, very grateful to have the opportunity to be here in the playoff. Like you mentioned, it was 4 months out. It wasn't easy, but on that way, like I said before, I had the support from the entire organization, my family. It was a huge support. Everybody around me was. But yeah, I'm very grateful to have the chance. I know it was a long shot, but very grateful to be here in the playoff and trying to help the team win some games.
We'll stay over there.
Anthony, antes de venir a Toronto ya tenías una relación con Vladdy, pero estando acá, ¿cómo has visto la evolución de él durante toda la temporada? Y obviamente hasta el punto de lo que hizo con la serie contra los Yankees y cómo tomó ese rol de líder de este clubhouse.
Basically, talk to us about your relationship with Vladdy. I mean, we all know that you have a previous relationship with him before you signed here, but now that you've seen Vladdy pretty much every day, and the way he's performing, especially on the division series against the Yankees, talk to us about that, please.
Mira, algo increíble, de verdad. Vladdy demostrando la superestrella que es en momentos importantes para ayudar al equipo. No me sorprende, de verdad, porque estar con él toda la temporada, ver su ética de trabajo, lo que toma su preparación para poder estar listo para ir a competir, es algo impresionante, porque todo el mundo piensa que no, es solamente el talento, se va a ir de 4-4, pero el trabajo que pone de verdad que es algo impresionante y muy contento por lo que ha venido haciendo.
I mean, not surprised at all about Vladdy. I mean, we'll see. For me, he's a superstar. I mean, he's great. I mean, for all the work that he's been doing through the year, seeing it in person this year, it's been an unbelievable experience. But I mean, sometimes we think about Vladdy's talent and say, okay, he has a great talent. He's gonna go for 4 every day. But it's the everything behind that, the work ethic that he has every day, the hours that he put on work. It's been very impressive for me to see that this year. But yeah, the guy, it's unbelievable.
Standing in the back left, Mike.
Anthony, I know you're talking about how you're not worried about how you feel physically, but do you feel like your swings are getting closer to where they are when you're at your best? And does stuff like having those 10, 11 pitch at bats show you where you are?
Ya sabemos que, ¿verdad?, no te sientes completamente 100% físicamente, pero estás teniendo unos swings muy buenos. Tú entiendes que especialmente estás cogiendo unos turnos de 10, 11 picheos. Te sientes que ya tú estás llegando al punto donde tú quieres estar.
Sí, definitivamente sí. Especialmente que la velocidad del swing ha regresado, la rotación. He tenido la oportunidad de ver bastantes picheos, no chasear mucho. Pero bueno, no quisiera coger 11, 12 picheos. Me gustaría nada más 2 y 3 y darle para adelante a la bola.
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially on my bat speed, I see my bat speed a lot better. I mean, every at bat it gets better. I mean, not chasing a lot. I mean, that's another thing that it's helping me out. I mean, I don't really want to take have an at bat or 11, 12 pitches. I want to have an at bat 2, 3 so I can hit it hard right away. But you know, that's part of the game. But yeah, I'm feeling very close to where I want to be.
And just as far as fitting into this clubhouse where everybody seems so close, you were out for 4 months, but you were around here for a long time. Guys have talked about how people moving in and out just immediately get right into the group. How have you found this group, especially since it's a new team for you?
Básicamente la química del equipo, ¿sabes? Se oye y se ve que el equipo está bien unido. Tú tuviste un tiempo fuera, pero te mantuviste alrededor de los muchachos todo el tiempo. Salen uno, entran otros, pero siempre hay una manera que el equipo se ve intacto en su química. ¿Cómo tú te sientes al respecto?
No, me siento agradecido por mis compañeros, especialmente cuando duras tanto tiempo fuera del terreno de juego, pero como tú mencionas, estuve en el clubhouse viajando con el equipo, y lo bueno de nosotros que nos mantiene unidos es que estamos unidos dentro y fuera del terreno. O sea, aquí estamos juntos desde el principio, desde Sprint Training hasta ahorita, y de verdad que es satisfactorio porque cuando uno va bien siempre están las personas ahí, pero cuando a uno le va mal es donde uno de verdad necesita a los compañeros, y ellos de verdad han estado allí toda la temporada.
I mean, it's a lot of satisfaction for me. It's a great group of guys that we got here, especially when you're out for so long, and then you can see that the chemistry here in this clubhouse. I mean, especially, I mean, you see it not just on the field, you see it off the field too. Since spring training, we've been like this. That was one of the things that we talk about in spring training, to remain everybody close regardless of the situation. But yeah, it's been unbelievable. The guys have been great with me, and I think we really have a great team here.
6th row on your right, Shai.
Hey, Tony. When you're facing a team whose pitchers are in the strike zone a lot, they don't walk guys, how does that maybe change your approach at the plate compared to pitchers who might be a little bit more erratic around the zone?
Cuando te enfrentas a picheos como los de los Mariners, que ellos no envasan mucha gente, que siempre se mantienen en la zona, comparado con otros pitchers que están un poquito más fuera de la zona, ¿cómo eso cambia el approach tuyo en los turnos?
Bueno, es un approach de equipo. Obviamente, picheos como lo que tienen los de Seattle atacan bastante a los bateadores. Solo tenemos que ir agresivos, hacer swing para hacer daño. A diferencia de cuando hay lanzadores que están muy fuera de la zona, pues tenemos que ser un poco más pacientes, apretar un poquito más la zona para poder hacer el trabajo.
Yeah, definitely. It's a team approach. I'll say when you face a staff like the Seattle Mariners, they attack the zone. Uh, Pretty much, our approach is just we got to become more aggressive. Versus when you face staff like it's not in the zone, you got to be more patient, not try to chase. But Seattle Mariners, I think that our approach is being more aggressive since that's what they do in attacking the zone against us.
And what's the balance between, attacking early to not fall behind in the count versus maybe waiting it out to try to get a better pitch if they're sort of on the edges?
El balance que tú entiendes, agresivo, ser agresivo temprano o coger ese picheo, esperar a ver si después más tarde en el turno agarras el picheo que tú estás buscando. ¿Cuál sería el balance ahí?
El balance sería controlar un poco las emociones y esperar por tu picheo. Agresivo en la zona de strike siempre estar agresivo haciendo swing hasta que se vea que es bola.
Definitely. First you gotta control your emotions. You gotta relax and look for the pitch that you're looking for. Until you get it. If you see something there that it's in the zone, then you gotta be aggressive.
Third row up front.
Hi. You were the big free agent acquisition for this team, and it was a disappointing season. I know injury had a lot to do with it. But what would you like to show your teammates and the fan base as well about yourself in this series?
Algo que tú, ¿verdad? Te gustaría demostrar a ti, especialmente ahora en los playoffs. Obviamente fuiste la gran firma del equipo en la temporada muerta. No fue la temporada que se esperaba, claro está. Las lesiones estuvieron envueltas, pero hay algo que tú entiendes que tú debes demostrarle a tu equipo y a la fanaticada aquí ahora que estás jugando en los playoffs.
Mira, la disposición de salir a competir picheo a picheo para poder coger buenos turnos y en su momento que salgan los batazos oportunos. Cuando uno está en esta situación, uno no trata de hacer mucho. Ya es tarde en la temporada, no tratamos de ser un héroe. Este es un juego en equipo. No se trata de un solo individuo, pero gracias a Dios la disposición está para salir a competir día a día, picheo a picheo, para poder ayudar al equipo.
I'll say it's more determination. So it's not to trying to be a hero. I know it's the playoff, right? So it's a team effort. It's not just one individual that's gonna win a game. So yeah, on my case, I'm just not trying to prove anything. I feel ready right now, and every time I get the chance to go out there and put good swings, be aggressive, find a way to put good at bats and help the team win some games.
Do two last quick ones. John in the back.
Yes, Anthony, I wonder as you're feeling better with your shoulder, is playing winter ball a consideration to help continue the momentum positive for you, or do you think rest is the most important thing for you this winter?
Ahora mismo, ¿cuál sería la clave tuya para recuperarte totalmente? ¿Descansar ahora tan pronto acabe la temporada? ¿O estás pensando, hay una idea de jugar un poquito de winter ball para ver cómo te sientes?
Bueno, en estos momentos no estoy pensando en eso en realidad. Estoy pensando a quién salir a competir el día de hoy y ganar el juego de hoy y esta serie, que es lo más importante. Ya después veremos, con el favor de Dios, pues cuál van a ser los pasos. Una decisión que no es solo mía, la gerencia está involucrada y creo que el tiempo dirá cuál será el próximo paso.
To be honest with you, I'm just thinking about today's game. Focus on that, trying to win the series, and then after that, then I will sit down and try to think about what's the next step. And of course, the front office, as winner ball leagues, they gotta be involved in that decision. But when we get there, we'll get there. As of right now, I gotta think about the game tonight.
We'll finish up in the fourth row on your left.
Voy en ambas otra vez. Can you talk about your relationship with John Schneider and the level of trust and confidence that he has shown in you? Puedes hablar de la relación que tienes con tu manager, con John Schneider, y el nivel de confianza que has sentido que él ha puesto en ti, sobre todo en este último tramo de la temporada.
Bueno, el nivel de comunicación que tenemos es bastante interesante, de verdad que sí. tenemos una muy buena relación. Él todos los días me pregunta cómo estoy, cómo me siento, que si estoy listo, todo ese tipo de cosas, cosas que es muy importante de un manager, tener ese tipo de relación con tu jugador. Y para mí ha sido una bendición y muy contento por el trabajo que ha venido haciendo.
I mean, it's been a bless for me having Schneider as a manager. To tell you the truth, it's interesting relationship. I mean, the communication that he has, of course, in this case with me every day, it's been a lot for me. I mean, we talk about. He comes to me pretty much every day. How you feeling today? Anything that I can do for you? And when you have a manager that is showing you that he really cares about you, that's very important for me, and I will say for any player. Yeah, but it's been great that relationship that I have with him.
Anthony, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck. Appreciate
you.
it. Hector, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Shane Bieber's session will now be at 2:40, but John Schneider's up next at 1:30. Andreas Munoz will be in here at 2 o'clock. Dan Wilson will follow Andres, and then the Mariners game 3 starter will follow Dan. So Schneider 1:30, Munoz at 2, Wilson at 2:10, their game 3 starter at 2:20, and then Shane will be in here at 2:40.
John. Obviously, Shane Bieber will be getting the start on Wednesday. What's he bring to the table for the club?
Another veteran presence who's pitched in big games, who's done really well. A guy that you rely on, you count on, you trust. Exactly what we thought when we were acquiring him at the deadline. So pitching in a hostile environment, again, like he did in New York, but got all the trust in the world in him to go out and just pitch his game. He's fit right in since we've acquired him, and he's just another one of those guys that I think can handle big moments.
Shy in the last row, straight ahead.
Hey, John. What did Nate have to go through this morning to let you guys know that he was ready for this game?
Woke up feeling better, which was good. And then, just with stuff, talking to him, talking to the medical staff, I don't think there's any inherent risk by him playing, and then just basing it off of how he's feeling. Went through some tests earlier this morning. He's going to continue to kind of do that as we get closer to the game. But said it yesterday, man, he's been waiting for this situation, this moment in his career for a while. It's going to be tough to get him out of the lineup if he's able to play. So, so far he's checked every box.
If he hadn't been available, how would you have thought through covering him between weighing sort of maybe a defense first option like Miles versus maybe a more offensive option like Davis?
I think we had that covered. Kind of had to maneuver it a little bit in real time yesterday, but you take, I think, all things into consideration. You probably start with offense, and go from there with how we are kind of built with how we play.
Back to the second row on your left.
Good to see you again. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I was outside chatting with fans for Live on the Radio moments ago, and they're all saying it's just one game. It's just one game. How does it make you feel that no matter what, the fans are always behind the Blue Jays, thick or thin?
It's great. You know what I mean? It's why we love playing here. It's why we love our fans. I think it's easy for them to say that because that's the mentality in the clubhouse right now. This is not a one-game series. This is a 7-game series. And it's going to be tough. And I think that our fans are well-educated enough to know that, for one, but also well-educated enough to know what kind of team that is.
Fourth row straight ahead, Mike.
Hey, John. We hear a lot during the regular season, or we ask a lot about nagging little injuries. If this were a playoff game, would he be playing? So if this were game 119, would Lucas be playing?
Probably not. Just being totally transparent, I think we've had those conversations to where you say, I've probably said, I want to be careful and things like that. If this were the playoffs, we'll see. This is the playoffs. So I think you do whatever it takes to be out there.
And just with the Ernie-Tony switch, 7-8, what went into that?
Similar to kind of what I did yesterday with, kind of contact, power, splitting up Varsh, Tony, trying to predict as best as you can what Gilbert's going to do in terms of pitch deployment. Again, not really sure. You're trying to take your best shot at it, and to kind of take also into consideration how long or short he may go, and how many times each guy can kind of see him. So been really encouraged with Tony's at-bats, and just wanted to kind of take a shot there.
Questions for Shines? John, the sixth row on your left.
Hi, John.
Hey.
One of the things that really stands out about your team this season is the adaptability of the lineup. Scoring runs in different ways. It can be big swings. It can be smaller ball. After the Mariner pitching was so efficient yesterday, getting through about 100 pitches, does it call for a different kind of approach here in Game 2?
I don't. I've been thinking about that. I think that, again, you don't want to try to do something you haven't done all year when you get to this point. And I think that yesterday was, we come out, George Homer, 20 however many pitches in the first, and then you don't want to take the aggressiveness away from guys. I think there were probably a handful of bats that kind of could have went a little bit longer. These guys can pitch, and they're going to come right after you early. So there's ways to combat that. Again, you don't want guys to sit there and wait a guy out and say he's pitching on short rest. You got to trust guys to make good swing decisions, good swings. And I think when you look at it as a whole, yesterday, whether you want to call it bad luck, bad aim, bad exit velo, whatever you want to call it, I think it just kind of didn't work out to our favor, to where there were some quick outs. that's kind of how some of our guys are built, and didn't really grasp the positioning part of it or the contact quality part of it yesterday.
The last row on your right, John, David.
Hey, John, with Tony, it's obviously been an up and down year, starts and stops. How have you seen him navigate that journey?
Pretty well, you know what I mean? For a guy coming into, his first year of a contract, wanting to perform better than he did before he got hurt, and understanding what he needed to do to get back. It's hard when you're trying to get your body right to play, and within that time, you're trying to make some adjustments too to perform better. So I think that he did everything that he could to get to this point. And it's going to continue to be a grind for him, I think, physically, but he's another guy that he understands where we are right now. So he's going to do whatever it takes to help in some capacity. So in a frustrating year for him, I think that it's nice that he is back helping us right now.
Fourth row on your far left, Jorge.
John, it's been about 6 months since Vladdy signed that contract extension. You've been asked different times, like turning points in the season, and I know you guys didn't take off right away, but how important do you think it was to get that over with and allow you guys to let's go?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was big. Not just for Vlad. I think he did a really good job of saying this isn't affecting me. From day one of spring training. I think that kind of eased the tension a little bit in the room. I think it kind of showed our fan base and the league kind of what we're trying to do here, short and long term, and it just kind of clears a little bit of a cloud around a really good player and allows the team to kind of say, okay, this is our guy. This is kind of what we're going to do. So yeah, I think it kind of freed everyone up, to be honest with you.
Straight back, Shy.
John, how do you feel this group is equipped to handle the ups and downs of a postseason, maybe compared to the 22 and 23 teams?
I like our chances. You know what I mean? When you get to this point, players are players and people are people. These guys don't want the season to end. You know what I mean? I think whatever the outcome is, I feel like these guys all want to get an Airbnb somewhere and hang out, for the winter. So I think that means a lot. They have shown they're really good at moving on to the next thing, which is hard to do. But I think they're very well equipped to just say, okay, what's important now? How I've been saying it all year. What do I need to do now to help us win? And you go out and you play your game, you compete your ass off, and you see what happens. So they're going to continue to do it. I got all the faith in the world in them. I'm really excited to see kind of how they come out today.
Do a couple last ones in the second row up front.
Hey, John. Just to follow on that topic of cohesiveness in the clubhouse, Miles Straw was speaking the other day about how it helped when he came here that he knew a lot of guys from the Cleveland organization, and obviously with Shane, you've added another guy from the Cleveland organization. How much does that help when you have players who have a pre-existing relationship?
Yeah, in this game it's big. We were kind of joking it was a prerequisite to be in Cleveland at some point to be over here. It helps, you know what I mean? Because this game is hard and everyone makes sacrifices. They're away from their family. They're here all day, you know what I mean? So I think just being comfortable with the guys around you is huge. Whether it's players, whether it's staff, talking to you guys every day, the more comfortable you are, the better you're going to perform for sure. So it is nice. And I think that when you have that, then you kind of build an environment and you build a culture where when new guys do come in, they're very welcome, whether it's guys from our minor league system or guys that are coming in from other organizations.
One last one, if there is one. We'll finish with John in the back.
It's interesting to me, John, to see the number of switch hitters in this series, and obviously Tony's got to probably just get the left-handed swing going as best he can because that's what he's going to use the most often. But when you look at Raleigh, look at Polanco, what have been your observations over the years about how switch hitters keep their swings going? Should they be the same on either side? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's always been one of the game's biggest questions to me because it's tough to maintain one swing, with the pitching you're facing these days. And to do two swings that are probably a little bit different in some way, shape, or form is really impressive, And I think to do it when you're playing every day, to do it when you're catching every day is pretty much unheard of, too, what Cal's doing. So I give those guys so much credit. Their routine has to be different. Their maintenance is different. There's times where one feels better than the other. But that, to me, it's a luxury to have when you can kind of be platoon neutral. but to maintain it, I think, is really impressive.
All right, Schneids, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Schneids. Good luck. 2 o'clock, we'll have Andreas Munoz. He'll be followed by Dan Wilson, then the Mariners Game 3 starter, and then Shane Bieber around 2:40. Andres, thanks so much for coming in. Freddie, thanks for helping us out. Who's got the first question for Andres? We'll start with Ryan on your left, guys.
Andres, how did you feel going into the game last night? You'd thrown a lot already in the NLDS. How did you feel going into the game?
Felt good enough. Of course, we are a little bit tired, but we have to push a little bit more to do what the team needs to win. And this is what we do. We go through a lot of stuff, and we just start to do our best over there.
One row ahead, Andres.
Hi, Mooney. What do you, when you know you don't have as much recovery time as you normally would want or get, what do you have to do in order to get yourself ready to go, day after day like you have?
I think the key for me has been the trainers. They've been helping me so much to get ready for the games, and I think they are the most important thing for us to be ready for the game. And obviously, a lot of times you have to do a lot more stuff, more soft tissue, more ¿cómo se dice? Lo de antes de para calentar.
Warm up.
Sí. Prepare. Like, I don't know how to say it. But yes, they have been a key for us to go up there and perform our best.
Rick in the left
Andres, Bryce did a heck of a job last night, 6 innings. What did that mean for the guys down in the bullpen doing what he did?
It means a lot, especially we know that he have less days of rest than normal, and the way that he went up there and compete was really huge for us to see that, and it's like everybody here is pushing a little bit more every time to get that goal, and I feel we are going in the right direction, and it was good to see Bryce doing that.
Fifth row on your left, Andres.
Mooney right here. Kind of similar, but your starting staff has gone through a lot this season with guys going out, coming back. Bryce, Logan, George, all those guys, and now Brian Woob. But to see what your starters have done in this postseason, just game after game after game, what's it been like to see them get back to the point where they were, last season and at other times as well?
I feel like everybody here is really important. Everybody has making something to help the team be in this position, and everybody know that our pitching staff is really good, and they've been proving it, and I'm really happy for them, and hopefully they're going to continue doing that, and that's it.
David, the third row on your left.
Hey, Andres, I'll do this in English and then Spanish. 2022 was one thing, but for a lot of the guys, this is the first deep run into the playoffs, or deepish run into the playoffs. How exciting has it been for you guys? And obviously you see the fan base being excited as well. So what's that been like for you guys? So obviamente el 2022 fue algo, pero esta es la primera vez para muchos de ustedes que hayan llegado así de lejos en la postemporada. ¿Cuál es la emoción entre ustedes haciendo esto? Y también compartir eso con la fanaticada en Seattle.
I feel like everybody is really motivated at this point. We've been dreaming about this during the whole season and during a lot of years, and being here is an awesome opportunity for us, and we don't want to lose the opportunity to do our best every time that we get on the field. And I know everybody is doing the things that they have to do for be 100% on the field, and it's just like it's a dream, and hopefully we're going to get to that goal, and we're going to do our best. Pues la verdad que muy motivados, todos están muy motivados, esperemos que podamos seguir así. Todo el mundo yo entiendo que todo el mundo está cansado y todo eso, pero la verdad que para eso es para lo que jugamos, para llegar a este punto. Y la verdad que no vamos a desaprovechar la oportunidad, vamos a darlo todo, independientemente de lo que salga en los resultados, tienen que estar seguros que dimos el 100%.
Fifth row on your left, Andres. Tyler.
Andres, what's the biggest way you've changed as a pitcher in the 5 years since San Diego traded you to Seattle?
Probably know a little bit more about my body. That has been the big change for me. Before it's not like I didn't worry about it. It was more like I didn't really put attention to what my body was feeling or listen. I didn't listen to my body, and now after the Tommy John surgery, I was able to learn a little bit more how to manage knows the difference about sore, pain, and all those things. And just as soon as I start to feel something, I work on it, and I go with the trainers right away without being scared of, oh, maybe they're going to think that I am hurt or something like that. I think attacking the soreness or the pain as soon as possible, that has been the only change that I did. Just put more attention in my body, eat healthier, and that's it. That has been the only change.
How do you keep your body in control when you're pitching? Just because it seems like you have a lot more moving parts and deception than most pitchers. So is that hard to repeat consistently?
Not really, because that is the way that I always been throwing, and I just try to repeat the same all the time. Obviously, you can see like sometimes I fall off, but that is normal for me. Sometimes I do that, and that is how my body moves, and obviously with the reps, you get more used to it, and you start to feel more in control.
One last one for Andres. We'll finish up with David.
Same drill. A lighter question. Do you think there are more Seattle Mariners fans now in Los Mochis or Sinaloa? ¿Crees que hay más fanáticos de los Marineros en Los Mochis o Sinaloa ahora mismo?
No, sí, la verdad que sí. Yo creo que me siento muy contento por ser parte de los mexicanos que están aquí, y la verdad que me enorgullece mucho poder estar aquí representando a mi país y que cada vez vean más el béisbol, los mexicanos. La verdad que me pone muy contento y vamos a seguir haciendo lo mismo, tratar de poner el nombre de México en alto. ¿Lo puedes decir en español? ¿O lo puedes decir en inglés tú?
Yeah, he wants me to do this one. Yeah, you know, it's very special. You know, I feel very proud of being one of the few Mexicans being able to, you know, be representing here in this league. But, you know, you see more and more fans being into it, especially back home. So, you know, I definitely do feel proud that, you know, more and more are starting to kind of get into the game and rooting for us.
All right, Andres, Freddie, thank you guys so much. Great to see you both. All right, we'll get started with Dan. If you have a question, just raise your hand. Who's got the first question for Dan? Who's up first? Go to David on your left.
Dan, Randy Arozarena has obviously forged a pretty good reputation in postseason from, you know, things he's done from a few years ago. The 2 stolen bases last night. He said last night that he really raises his energy level for the playoffs. Have you seen any of that in these, I guess, 6 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of guys raise their energy level in the postseason, and Randy's certainly one of them. You know, and he's had a tremendous season for us, and you know, just the things he does, you know, whether it's offensively or defensively. You know, obviously the home runs at another 2020 season for him, but
You know, what he does on the bases often is a big part of our offense, and especially in that leadoff spot, and getting a chance to get on base and advance 90 feet via the stolen base. And you know, he does bring a lot of energy to our offense, and those 2 stolen bases last night were big.
Go to Tyler on your left, Dan.
Dan, just to jump off that, yeah, the stolen bases were big, and Naylor's stolen base the other night was big. You guys stole a lot of bases. How much of that was by design or philosophy in terms of, like, you know, just something that you want to get into your run scoring?
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, these guys I think are very smart base runners, and have a lot of freedom when they get on base, and they read it very well. And we've talked about, especially, you know, Josh Naylor and his you know, just the way he sees the game, and the headiness that he plays the game with. But all our base stealers, you know, do a really good job. Eric Young Jr. over at first base, you know, really helps those guys tremendously. He's been such a great addition to the staff, and just in some of the things that they try to cue on and work with when they're trying to steal a base. So these guys do such a great job preparing our guys, and then our guys run with it. And, you know, pardon the metaphor, but they run with it. And you know, they do a really, really good job. And it's again, a big part of, you know, putting pressure on the defense and trying to get that extra 90 feet.
Other questions for Dan? Rick?
Danny, what could you just say about Jorge Polanco coming up with so many big hits and crucial clutch situations like he has, the 15th inning, and the home runs off of Scooble last night, 2 RBI singles?
Yeah.
How does he slow the game down?
Polo's just, you know, he's just a professional hitter. I don't know how else to describe it, and the way he's been able to do that all season long. You know, he got off to a torrid start for us, and you know, put up some huge numbers, especially home runs early in the season, and then his at bats continued to be so solid throughout the year, and then lately here has just, you know, come up in key situations and really delivered for us, and you know, being able to slow the game down, as you mentioned, both sides of the plate. I think, you know, there's a lot of confidence in the left side and the right side at this point, and he's just, you know, found a way to deliver in those situations, and it's been huge. And it's, you know, he's come up, you know, those 2 runs last night to put us ahead, number 1, and then to give us an insurance run, number 2. You know, you can't emphasize how important that was, and he just seems to be in the right place at the right time, and he's really doing a great job delivering in those situations.
1 row ahead, Ryan.
Dan, you watched Brian's live BP. What did you see from him, and, you know, do you think we'll see him pitch when you guys return to Seattle at some point?
Yeah, I thought it went really well today. You know, again, looking at different things in terms of his velo, and in terms of how he was throwing his secondary stuff. It looked all really pretty solid today. And then, you know, again, the next sort of check mark is how he responds to that tomorrow and how he comes back. But you know, I think, again, as we've seen, his progression's been pretty steady, pretty on the mark. And you know, I think if he comes back tomorrow and feeling better, then I think we're on a good path to seeing him later in the series.
We'll stay right there.
Dan, on that note, obviously your starting staff, you know, people have thought for a while is the best in baseball, and then this year there's kind of an avalanche of injuries, and one thing happens after another. But to reach this point and to have them be what they've been in the playoffs, which I think is what you probably always envisioned, how important has that been, and how important is it going to continue to be?
Yeah, I mean, you know, your starters are so important, and you know, I think what we saw from Bryce last night was just phenomenal, and that's a huge outing. And each of our guys have done that at some point in the season, and you know, have really stepped up. But when you start putting those back to back together, and you know, each outing is each guy's trying to kind of outdo the other guy, that's when you've got something really special. And this is that kind of a group. And we've seen some really big outings here in the postseason. We've seen these guys even, you know, come out of the bullpen and give us a big outing. So these, you know, this starting staff, you can't say enough about them. You know, the uniqueness that they have in terms of how they push each other, how they, you know, encourage each other, all the things that go into the bonding of that group together. You know, it's a special group of starters, and you know, you really are excited to hand the ball to each and every one of them, and in a postseason, that's a really good feeling.
Right.
Dan, you mentioned how important the mound visit was from Cal last night in the first inning. Bryce doesn't even remember what Cal said to him. Logan said that Cal will often come out there and just stare at him and not say anything. I'm just curious, when you were catching, like, what was it like going to visit Randy on the mound or Jamie on the mound, or like those kinds of mound visits?
Yeah, I remember having to look up to Randy, so that was that's an oddity. But you know, I think you know, oftentimes pitchers sometimes just need a beat. They just need to kind of slow the game down for just a minute and get out of whatever rhythm they were in. And I think, you know, whatever Cal said to Bryce last night, maybe that was what it was. It's just kind of a beat, you know, a chance to kind of disrupt the momentum that was going the other way, whatever the case may be. I think Cal has a really good intuition in terms of when to go out there. And clearly that was a great situation to go out and kind of change the momentum, and it seemed to really change the momentum, you know, permanently for Bryce, and coming out from that point on, it was pretty special.
You didn't say anything bad about Randy or Jamie though in those mound visits?
No, of course not. No.
One row ahead.
Dan, with going with Logan today, who do you expect to have for start for Game 3?
Yeah, right now Game 3 will be George Kirby. Game 4 will be Luis Castillo.
And what went into the decision on slotting those guys in that spot?
I think, you know, a lot of it, again, just kind of where we stacked up rest-wise, how everybody's feeling, and you know, kind of made the most sense, you know, in terms of the matchups and whatever with Toronto here. So I think we're in a really good spot with our starters, and you know, it'll be interesting to see today with Logan. You know, again, we'll kind of monitor the same way we did with Bryce, coming off of a bullpen, kind of a different routine than he's normally had, the bullpen that was in the game. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Do a couple last ones for Dan. Annie on your left.
Dan, I was going to ask if you feel like your pitching staff's in a better spot today, given what you got from Bryce and the efficiency from the bullpen yesterday too.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, kind of maybe the underrated part of what Bryce did last night. Was number one, it set up our bullpen for the game last night. It was you know, giving us those 6 innings was tremendous. But you know, it did kind of give us a little bit of rest too. You know, Bizzardo didn't have to throw last night. Other guys didn't have to throw last night. So it sets us up, you know, kind of going forward here too. And you know, as it turned out, so on so many levels, that was a big outing from Bryce, and certainly with our bullpen and with our other starters, it came up huge.
One last one for Dan, if there is one. We'll finish with Hazel.
Hi, Dan. You obviously have a lot of information in advanced scouting on Trey Savage, but what are the challenges of never having faced this young man until Game 2 of an LCS?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's, you know, I think one of the things about baseball is guys catalog when they see pitches and pitchers, and that information gets, you know, sort of recalled when they get to they see him the next time. We don't have that with Savage. You know, this is going to be a first time for all of us. It's a unique delivery. It's a unique release. It's another split finger. So all those things I think will be very, you know, key for our guys in their first at bat or two to kind of, you know, be logging that information. And that's the great thing about baseball. It's a game of adjustments. You have to make your adjustments, and you have to make them quickly. And you know, offensively, that's what we're going to have to do with Savage today.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
We'll see you later. We're expecting George Kirby. The timing is TBD, and we'll have Shane Bieber next in 20 minutes, and then George will follow Shane at some point. We'll let you know as soon as we know.
Oh, thanks, my leopard. Thank you. Wasn't able to find young Izzle, but he's around.
Well, he was just going back upstairs.
Oh.
Somewhere past nature.
What ships in the night?
Yeah, on this side of the room, it's 1997.
The only film technology only over there?
That's right.
What's the advantage of camcorder over just phone?
I don't know. They like it. It does shoot in like 4K.
There we go. That'll be
I don't know. I just more or less do as I'm told.
I'm not questioning you. I'm just a man of curiosity.
That's fair.
It's easy to fit in your pocket.
Yeah.
Squeeze it.
That's why they had cargo pants so much in like
That's right.
2002, right? For the
Nice.
camcorders.
I think you should just have a nice big fanny pack that you carry around.
I have a plaid.
Could be your thing.
I have a plaid fanny pack.
Could be your thing.
Sure.
You're that guy.
Yeah. I need like better branding. That'll help with my
You-
exposure,
you're
right,
just
Keegan?
one thing away from being an influencer.
all need
One
one.
thing away from being an influencer.
Genuinely, Jen, we're still getting to know each other. I'm an influencer in 2 ways.
Okay.
Potato chips
Oh.
and cinnamon buns. That's what I bring to the table.
Well, there's value in that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can ask Kara and Lindsay.
Okay.
Covering golf, that's what I bring to the table.
Right.
Christina's looking so thoughtfully. Sorry?
What's your go-to chip?
I mean, I really like the Miss Vicky's lime and black pepper. That's my favorite chip, and it's like a little harder to get. But I recently had the Bengali vodka sauce pizza Miss Vicky's, which were excellent. They're hard to come by right now.
Yeah, girlfriend bought those the other day.
Probably because she saw me put it on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
And I was talking
Probably
about
because if you put jumping off a bridge on TikTok, she'd want that.
right, Shane, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys.
Who's got the first question for Shane? We'll start with Keegan in the back.
Hey, Shane, when you compare between starts in the postseason to between starts regular season, what turns up? What's there more of or less of?
You try and keep them the same. I think since I made my return to the major leagues a couple months ago, obviously found myself put right into some meaningful ball games. And so the importance stays the same, and obviously you place an emphasis on your preparation and each pitch, and you have the choice of making each bullpen and the work in between more important. But I think ultimately if your routine's already set in stone, you're ready to go. You try and treat it all the same.
Other questions for Shane? Yes, we'll start with Gregor and then second row. Yeah.
Hi, Shane. The trend is for pitchers not to go quite deep into games in the playoffs as they would the regular season. How does that change, if at all, how you kind of navigate your way through a start during the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we all know as starting pitchers, we got to go out there and empty the tank. And so you don't want to step off that mound with, excess energy or anything left in the tank. And so I think what that means is, since there's no guarantees, you got to step on it from pitch one. And so I think that's what we find ourselves doing. And, I know Trey will do that tonight. I know Ghazi did it last night. I know I'll do it on Wednesday.
We'll stay there with Brian.
Shane, what did you take out of the Yankee start, and what do you think you can apply that to tomorrow?
Just that kind of what we just talked about. You got to empty the tank from pitch one and continue to be aggressive. I watched that outing back a few times. I was relatively happy with how I executed. I thought, a couple different pitches and being a little bit sharper in certain situations could have had the game go a different direction. But ultimately, you can't really dwell on that, and you got to focus on what's coming next. And kind of just dove into my work over the past few days, and excited for the opportunity on Wednesday. But ultimately, I think from an execution standpoint and how I felt like the ball was coming out of my hand, I was happy with it.
Go to the second row on your right, Shane.
Hey, Shane. There's quite a few former members of the Guardians organization here on the Blue Jays. How much has that helped your transition joining the team just at the trade deadline?
Yeah, it's made it really seamless. I think right when I got the call that I was traded over here, I already had a handful of phone numbers that I reached out to and made a group text, and obviously that was great. But at the same time, even guys that I didn't have their contact info, and the minute I walked in the clubhouse, everybody within this organization, especially in that clubhouse, has made the transition really easy and seamless, like I said. So I'm grateful to those guys for how they've welcomed me in, but it was definitely a comfortable feeling immediately knowing that, I already had great connections with a handful of guys in this locker room.
And with all due respect to the Guardians organization, they made the postseason, but they're not in the ALCS. Does it feel good to be here and they're not?
Yeah, I'm focused on where we're at and, this team. I think you understand the business for what it is. And so the moment you get traded, you dive into whatever organization you just moved to. And so that's what I've tried to do, and that's what my family's tried to do. And like I said, this organization has made it very easy to be able to do that. They're extremely accommodating. And like I said, the clubhouse and the guys here, getting to know them has been an absolute pleasure, and to play with them. So I'm having a blast doing it, and that's what I'm focused on.
2 rows behind Shane, Mike.
Hey, Shane. The road back from Tommy John can be a little weird, especially for people who come back before 18 months, which I think you're right around there now. And we've often seen that there's one where things just aren't right. And you just talked about maybe a little lack of sharpness in that game against the Yankees. Do you think that might have had anything to do with that, and now that's in the rearview mirror and you move on to the next thing?
Yeah, I think no matter what, you move on. Yeah, I don't know if you're saying there's one outing where...
There's usually a clunker in there, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call that one a clunker, but I would just say, to your point, like guys coming back from Tommy John that first year, it's just, they say it's really difficult. They say that off season and then you, that first full season, once you finally get an off season, is where things start to feel normal and fluid. And for me, I'm really grateful for how I've felt coming back from TJ. I feel like I've competed really well, and the ball's coming out of my hand pretty good. And obviously, I think there's a lot more to be attained and worked towards, because I know what my ceiling can be. But for me, I can't focus on was that one the one bad outing I was going to have, or whatever it may be. I think I'm focused on my work and making the next one a good one no matter what.
And how does it feel for you to be the Blue Jays hostile territory guy, right? You get the first one in New York, you're getting the first one in Seattle.
It's cool. I love it. It's something to embrace. And ultimately, it's just how many people get the opportunity to pitch in the playoffs in the ALCS, and what's going to be a great environment in Seattle. So I'm excited for it.
Fourth row on your far left, Steve.
Shane, you spent considerable time with Josh Naylor as a teammate. He grew up about half an hour from here.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on him as both a ball player and a person, your time together as teammates?
Josh is a great clubhouse guy. Have a lot of respect for him as a person and a player. He's obviously having a great year this year. I know he kind of dealt with something similar getting traded at the deadline like myself and my family. And so, we can relate to each other in that aspect. But, happy for him and all his success. And I know he's a local guy, and he got it wasn't the warmest, but relatively warmer welcoming with the intros yesterday, being a local Canadian. So, like I said, I'm happy for him and his family. And, I know he's expecting a little one soon if they haven't already welcomed him. They did?
Yep.
That's amazing. So, Josh is a great guy, and, we stay in touch as best as we can, and happy for him and his success.
We'll stay right there.
Shane, when you look at Trey coming up with all you veterans and established guys as starters, do you ever think back to when you first got to Cleveland with guys like Kluber up there and Cookie, and kind of what that experience was like to be surrounded by a lot of guys with a lot of major league success?
Yeah, absolutely. That was something I was definitely grateful for in the moment, and I still am. I think Trey finds himself in a bit of a different situation, being 3 starts in and already in the ALCS, right? He doesn't have too much time to be asking questions, because we don't want to put too many questions in his mind. And I don't know what he could ask right now either. So he's running really well and throwing the ball extremely well. And we're definitely happy to have him, and we're enjoying his success as much as he is.
Anything else for Shane? We'll finish up with Greg, or we'll do 2 more on the last row, Shane.
Shane, what do you see as the strengths of this Mariners lineup, and how do you kind of combat them?
I think they're an extremely balanced team. Not just the lineup, but obviously the pitching staff. They can string hits together, and they can also get you at any point with power. Obviously, they got Cal over there, and he showed how he can even up a game in one swing. And but it's really not just Cal. They have a bunch of guys that can really inflict damage at any point. So you always got to be on your toes. And I think as a starting pitcher and just a pitching staff, we got to continue to be the aggressors and not give them too much credit, but go out there and pitch our game.
We'll finish up in the first row on your right.
Just a question about the guys on the team that haven't been able to play in the postseason yet. Obviously, part of some of the pitching staff, Bo Bichette. What have they meant to the club, just sort of being there in the dugout and the bullpen and cheering you guys on?
Yeah, they're awesome. I know, Bo's, it's a tough situation to be in. He wants to be out there more than anybody. And so, hopefully we give him another opportunity to be out there on that field with us. But we wouldn't be in this position without him. So continually reminding him and the other guys that they're a huge factor of why we're in this position to begin with. And so it does mean a lot to have those guys in and around the clubhouse every day and in the dugout during the games.
All right, Shane, great to see you. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. From the Mariners, we're expecting George Kirby. We don't have a specific time for him yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know.